Not good evening, just evening. Welcome back in. Harvey, good evening to you. Good to have you back on. How are we feeling?
Rough.
Now, is that because of the game yesterday or something else?
No, the game yesterday. Yeah, the game yesterday.
Yeah, fair enough.
Christmas.
It did. And Gavin, how you doing?
Technical gremlins. There's no IT support over Christmas. So I'm now on my iPad. I'm the only one who can still hear the music, or is the music still going?
No, the music isn't still going, but we can hear you perfectly and you're moving perfectly fine. So we'll just
why can't I still hear the theme music then? This is anyway. It's all
don't know.
shit. Doesn't matter.
There we go.
I'll just keep drinking the red. It's fine. Move on.
You carry on. So, evening everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. So, fresh off the back of a Boxing Day performance that looked like we'd eaten too many mince pies before kickoff, Reading delivered a 5-1 wake-up call that still rings louder than Mariah Carey in the supermarket. A 10-minute spell that sealed the points, and there was hope with Amichi's brilliant goal. Then the penalty awarded soon after had us all wondering if the comeback might be on. But it was saved as the League One's leading strikers lights blew under pressure. By full time, though, Reading had served us a stuffing that even the turkey felt smug about. So grab a leftover Yorkshire pudding, sip something stronger than our first half defending, and let's unwrap that festive royal shambles together, because Santa clearly forgot to bring us the 3 points. But he did bring Mike back for tonight's show. So, yeah, Mike, I'm just gonna come straight to you and I'll read out some comments. But yeah, I was confident. I put a TikTok out as well on the way to the ground thinking, yeah, I feel really good about today's game. And I know, and we did say, don't get carried away with that Doncaster result. But we've always wanted to take these little presents where we can, because it's been such a poor season for both of us. But 2 big back-to-back wins for you in the end.
Yeah, against 2 relegated championship clubs from last year as well, yourselves and Luton.
All right, I'll have to rub it in.
I'm sorry. But it was fantastic. From our point of view, it's a fantastic performance. We took advantage of the sending off, and that 20-minute spell we had was like, wow, where'd that come from? It just happened at the same time. It was, from my point of view, fantastic day out. I took a partner who's never been to a live running game with me for 7 years, so she's like, good luck, Omen. Yeah, she's coming again. So, yeah, but absolutely fantastic. And I mean, the atmosphere, I've got to say, at Home Park was fantastic. Even when you were 3-0 down, you were still chanting, and it was just brilliant. You wouldn't know at times you had 10 men and you didn't. It was a great game.
Yeah, no, I think. Excuse me. I think, yeah. Look, I mean, you must have thought, blimey, you know, all our Christmases have come at once, and then obviously you saw Amichi's goal, as I just referenced, then, and then the penalty, and you must have thought, oh no, this can't be happening.
Yeah. If that penalty goes in, it's a totally different game. You either get a draw out of it, or you even go on and win it. But the minute it was a turning point. When he missed it, it's like, I still wasn't breathing good in the way, and I thought they'd still there. But when the 4th went in, that was it all over. But that penalty was the key point. Your penalty was the key point. Us getting the penalty didn't help you. Obviously, it ruined the game after 10 minutes. But you missing that penalty was like, that was, for us, it was like, right, we might get some out of it, because he was in the ascendancy. He was,
yeah, I think
on top.
Yeah, the momentum was with us in the second half and up to that point, and you just sort of thought, oh god, this could be a crazy 3-3, and then it was a soft pen as well. Good save, not taking that away from the keeper, but you were just like, oh, it ain't going to happen, is it? And you could just see then sort of the head sort of go a little bit. There was a bit more given hope afterwards, but not much. And then obviously the goal for the 4th that sealed it. So. It's. I mean, I did this background image. You can see. Oh, I did it for the graphic for the YouTube channel, and it was just like, yeah, that sums it up. Really, you ruined our Christmas, Michael. You and Reading. I might also have Aidan from work who might be watching tonight. He's a Reading fan as well, so he's already rubbed it in after the game. So if you are watching, evening to you, and if Ree's with you as well, evening to both of you. Let me just read some of the comments before I go to Harvey, who's still trying to hide his feelings with his hoodie up. Who we got in? Jana updates. Evening to you. Says, hi, Mike. Saw some of the Tamerton boys today at Plymouth Parkway. If that was them, I'm not sure. And Carl isn't with us or Andy tonight because Carl's working and Andy's got another function on. So I don't know from Carl if that's the case. If Paul's in with us, I can't see. He will tell us. But he did say he saw a Block 9 flag, and they do have one. So assuming it was us, they had a drum me and the lads were trying to get one as well. Also, where we got here? Andrew Bam. I think I got that right. Sorry if I haven't, Andrew. Harvey, how did you get on in the friendly you played in this afternoon? We'll come to that in a second then, Harv. Locks 9 just reminding us of the score. Debbie Firth, evening to you. Good evening all. Hope you all had a nice Christmas. And I hope you did. I know you were working as Carl was on Christmas Day. Argo 83 is in the house. Evening to you. Who does a bloody... Sophie's next to me, I'm just saying. Paneka at 3-1 down. Jesus, well, I can't remember that, but I'm sure one of the guys will. Locks 9 saying embarrassing after that 5-1, but it does show how this league is so up and down. Mr. Magoo's also in. Evening to you. Good evening all, he says. I hope you all had a good Crimbo and all have a good new year. All we do is looking up. Well, we got to still try and stay positive. Need a win on Monday, Locks 9 says absolutely. Jana Update says it's Spencer, right? You keep changing your name, Spencer, on here. Drives me mad. But Merry Christmas to you, mate. So Sam, who also paired on X, thank you, Sam, says, waited a few years for a home game, 9 to be precise, on Boxing Day, and more than happy to wait a few more until the next one after that yesterday. Kami Tarasaki is in as well. Hello, everyone. And VW Coco also says good evening, and Ben Collins. Harvey, I'll come to you. I mean, you just can't get carried away in this league, can you?
Yeah, I know. I tell you, it's really disappointing because we went into that game and I honestly thought it was going to be a really good game. I thought that it was two sides evenly matched. And it had potential to be like a 3-3 or to be a very close game, but it was sort of that brain fog and that 5 minutes of unorganized from Argyle that absolutely killed it for us. Someone saying about Tolai's penalty, I don't think it was a Panenka. I think it was a roll. He just rolled it, but
he's just clipped it. But it's at a nice height. But there's no pace. Keeper goes the other way. Everyone goes
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do have the highlights. I do have the highlights, and I will show them. But go on, Harv.
But it's disappointing. But at the end of the day, it sort of sums up our season as well. I think that sort of reminds us where we are. We're not a top League One side at the moment, and we haven't been this season. So still a lot more fight to do, and it's going to be an even bigger game Monday now to put it right.
Yeah, it's and hopefully they can do that. Sam Branch is in. Evening, Sam. Straight in with Cleverly out. We'll come to some thoughts on that. Gavin, give us rubbing his hands together. Give us your thoughts initially.
Well, all the money's gone back on to Hypnos, so I'm making a few quid that way. I can still hear the theme music, which is driving me nuts. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
I'll have to log back in and out again in a minute.
Fair enough.
I'm actually upbeat.
Go on.
I can't hear a word I'm saying, but I can.
Yeah, we can.
I'm upbeat.
Go on.
I know you are. I can't. I'll just text the wife and say, log on to the pod, see if the music's still playing. It's not. It's just me. But anyway, there we go. I'll log out in a minute and log back on again. I was really, really content with 60, 65 minutes of the game. I thought we had a brain fart for 10 minutes when we had no leaders on the pitch in the middle of midfield. And that cost us the game. But actually, to play with 10 men at 4-4-1 with not two up top, I thought we dominated for about 45, 50 minutes. I don't know what you feel on that one, Mike, but I think if the keeper dives to his right rather than his left, and that nestles in the corner, we go on to get something out of this game, whether that be 1 or 3 points, I'm not sure. But I think Home Park would have been at its raucous best. Sort of reference Leicester at home a couple of years back. I think we'd have sucked that ball into the back of the net once, maybe twice from getting there. I thought the substitution was spot on early doors, taking Aseni off, although it wasn't his fault. But we had to play 4-4-1, and we had that chat in the group chat earlier. I thought that Wiradu probably had his best game in an Argyle shirt. so far. I thought he was excellent, to be brutally honest. Which was a big surprise and a big delight, I have to say. I thought Mumba's had his best game in this season for us. I thought he was back to his best, especially being direct and driving the ball up the pitch. And I think the most promising thing I saw yesterday was to have Xavier Michi back for half a game where he looked at his best. Some of those diagonals,
oh yeah,
I was sat 100 yards above him in the clouds in the upper Mayflower, watching it leave his foot and nestle nicely into Saranola or Mumba the other side. He looked back at his best, and the way he hit that ball to score the goal from 20-25 yards was superb. So I'm actually thinking 11 men on the pitch against Wycombe, without Rolls for one game, by the way, suspended, not 3, which actually is a massive bonus for us, to be honest. I think we go and beat Wycombe handsomely if we can press them high. And I watched some of their game earlier. Happy Clapper, this is the problem. Sam, go and wet your bed, right? And then and make me more money. Thank you. I genuinely thought we played some good football. Was it a good result? No. Was the refereeing decision influential? Yes. Was Rolls stupid? Yes. But yeah, I got a bit of sympathy for Tom. Cleverly, I think we've had some crap decisions this year, and I think that continued again yesterday. But why Rollsy's trying to do a rugby tackle like an under-11, start at the chest and slide down and tap his ankles when he's in the box, I don't know. Rush of blood to the head. Was it a red card? Probably on reflection, yes. I think it probably was. At the time, I was seething and said, no, it wasn't. And a few people who had never met me before in front of me learned some new words whilst in the top of the Mayflower. One of them rhymes with runts, but there we are. It is what it is. But I thought on reflection, it showed we were probably still a confident team, despite that 10 minutes of nonsense. If we can cut that out of our game, I think we'll be more than happy. A couple of new additions in for January, and I think this time this team raises up the leagues. I think what's also beneficial and positive is that we haven't really lost any ground on anyone above us. I know we're 20th now, but there's, I think, 11 or 12 teams between 3 points. So, you could be sitting 20th or 11th at the minute, and you'd kind of be there or thereabouts looking over your shoulder both ways.
Yeah, so I'll go through some of the. I mean, Argyle 83 has put all the positives up. I just laugh at that, reading them as I come to and where they. Let me find them back. So, he's basically just shouting out the stats in terms of worst defence in the league, worst home record bar Port Vale, third worst XG in the league. Let's just I think it was Spencer, wasn't it? In terms of the happy clapping comment. Look, not everybody on this pod will agree with each other. You join us. I haven't seen you in before, but welcome you in anyway. And
Mike, just to say one thing, right? We've been dreadful earlier this year, right? Very, very hard to defend the performance. We've been absolute dog excrement. We really have. But we weren't that 2 days ago. We weren't. Or yesterday. We weren't. Yesterday we weren't. We did not have a bad performance. We had a shit 10 minutes where Reading went bang, 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 put themselves out of sight. But we did not play bad football. And the fact, a Reading fan sitting there, I know he can sit there with the smugness of a 4-1 victory, but we outplayed you for 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
With 10 men. So
let's, I'm going to give it a bit more context, because this is where I know most of us, and Gavin will agree, the frustration comes from, and most everybody else on here. And thanks to all those saying hello as well to Mike in the chat. And that is the penalty and that 10-minute spell. It's Argyle all over where their heads go. I didn't like the fact that Cleverly made the change straight away. We'll come to everybody's views on that. But because it's almost disrupting things straight after a guy, key player, well, for us in the past few games, gets sent off. So did I think it was a penalty? I've watched it back. I've got the highlights. I felt it's one of those where, as a player, if you feel someone on you, all over you, you're going to try and go down. I don't think he does drag him down, but I only watched it probably twice. We'll see it in a minute. Was it a red card? I think it was harsh by the letter of the law, and it's probably did it stop a goal scoring up and all that jazz. There was a lot of Argyle players on the line. Remember, it was a melee going on in the box as well at the time. I think it was harsh. And I think if the ref had just stepped back a bit and given himself another minute to think about it, sort of less than 10 minutes in or whatever it was, yes, give the penalty, fine, red card, no. It did kill the game. But it was that 10-minute spell from that goal where Argyle just collapsed. And in fairness, Mike, to you and Reading, you took advantage of the situation. You got us all caught and sort of wrapped up in each other and scored 2 good goals that gave you that 3-goal lead. And then for probably another 10, 15 or so minutes, you just made us chase shadows, for that period. We were running around, and I was like thinking, if this is going to go on all game, we're going to be knackered for come the Wycombe game on Monday. So that's where I can see a lot of people's frustrations, and it was mine, is we just threw it away. Yes, the red card, it was frustrating, but to give 2 more goals away in 10 minutes was just unacceptable when we could have cleared. And even saw someone comment about it. I'll go through those in a second. Mumba should have done better, should have just headed that ball out, not try and bring it down with a high foot and then lose it to the Reading player who goes on and whoever it was that scored for their second. So that was the cluster, cock up in that 10-minute spell. And that's, well, I'm trying to be careful here because my daughter's still next to me. And that is the frustration. Yes, we did do well. Yes, we had a great bit of possession and played some really good football. The goal was brilliantly worked with Mumba starting it off and doing well with that. But we just cannot forgive what's cost us the game, and that is that 10-minute spell. Mike, obviously, you were there. We've spoken about it just before the show. You feel it. Obviously, you're going to say it would be a penalty, but I think we can all agree it was a penalty. Did you feel it was a red card?
Yeah, because first, when I was at the game, because Andy messaged me saying there's a pen but not a red. And then when I got home, I looked at it and asked him about Williams is going to have a shot on target. He may sky it. He may hit the defender. But the ball's coming near his feet when Rolls pulls him down. So as you said, to the letter of the law, is it a goal-scoring opportunity? Yes, he may sky it. He may hit us in the stands. Yeah. But that's my opinion of it. I think it is because he's pulled. Ball's coming towards. If you look at it, he's coming towards. There's one angle. You see the ball coming towards Williams. And when Balls pulls him down, it's penalty. So it's the goal opportunity, or dogs as they call it, denying goal opportunity.
Yeah,
it's a red, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a young ref as well, I think, Harvey, isn't he? And so I've seen someone. I've seen someone note that. So I mean, for you, penalty and a red from your point of view.
See, this is I'm very 50-50 with it. I think it is a penalty in this day and age, but I do think the contact was soft. I think that you look at it back and yes, his hands are on him. And in today's game, if you're an attacker and you feel someone put your hands on you, you go down. But because it wasn't violent, and I can understand it's probably Dogso and you've got to give it, but it did 100% ruin the game for us. I think for us to have to deal with 10 men for with added time, probably about 90 minutes. And that's where I agree with Gav. The hard work, we crumbled for that 10 minutes after the red, but after that we gave it all to try pull something back. But yeah, definitely a penalty and red card. I think as well. I mean, if it happened against Argyle and they didn't give a red, we'd be fuming. That's how we gotta look at it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm just going to read out some more of the comments. Don't forget, also in the first half, we did have, I think it was either a Boateng chance and a Mumba chance very, very late on. That goal could have, or a goal back then could have made a bit more of a difference, but it obviously wasn't to be. I'm just going to scroll. I need to scroll back a bit, so it's great seeing all the comments in. So Simon Fort, evening to you. All the Green need to do is keep our heads. It's very easy to sort of, get back to being frustrated. We'll see what Wycombe does. It's 2 back-to-back home games. Let's see what happens there. Andrew T also saying, Wiradou does everything Boateng does and can pass. Terry Alford, I did think he played well when he came on. Terry Alford saying, worst head coach. Andrew also saying, Reading keeper should do better. Locks, I'm not sure for what one he's referring to there, but Locks 9 need to win on Monday to pit things right. I think Argyle 83 might have been in reference to Gavin's view earlier when that one came in, but I apologise if I'm wrong with that. Kami Tarasaki says Plymouth need to, as the kids... Ben being an idiot. Plymouth need to stop getting red cards and too many yellows, not helping results. Cleverly did mention the discipline from us in the league. And as Argyle 83 said, it's the worst discipline in the league. Alex at Argyle, wasn't a good day, was it yesterday? Good evening to you all. And Harvey, yeah, evening Alex. Thank you for pairing on the channel as well. Truth Plin, Mumba, poor for the second goal, just clear it. Yeah, that's the point I was making earlier. Just when you're under that pressure, man down, just head it away or do something. Jack Smith, I live in the Midlands and have been a lifelong Argyle supporter, always making the distance down, but the referee was genuinely shocking. He was blowing up for some things and not blowing up for others, but we've got to do our job at the end of the day. No points between a lot of teams, Gavin, so good point, well made. Yeah, I mean, Mike, you've jumped up to 11th. It could all change again on Monday when everybody
you could be back to 20th and we could be 11th.
It's madness. I'll read a few more out because they are coming through very quickly, so I'll try to get through as many as I can. Jack Smith saying, we played really well. Just a shame that Reading had a 12th man. Hello to the Reading fan as well. Kami Tarasaki said earlier. Dean, who also retweeted on X, impaired. Ref had Reading in his accumulator. Jack Smith, fair play to this, Mike, the Reading fan. You're a very humble fan with valid opinions, knowing your team weren't particularly that good. Mike, as just so those that don't know and that have joined us for the first time, Mike has joined in with the lives in the chat for a few months now, so we had to bring him in for this game. I was like, do I invite him or don't I? But you've got to bring him on. Why not? It's good banter. So, yeah, I think, Mike, from your point of view, you did have us chasing shadows after even going 3 up. And I think it was that last sort of 5, maybe stretching it 10-minute spell, I think, where we started to sort of come at you and we managed to get possession of the ball and move it around a bit. Obviously lacking that threat. With Orseni having to come off, for Wiradoo. But yeah, I mean, how would you say your overall performance was in that game?
Well, that 20-minute spell was best of first like I've been to for ages, but that 20-minute spell best we played. All right, we had the advantage of the extra man, but that 20-minute spell was just brilliant the way we played. Lewis Wing controlling the midfield and Savage, but after that we seemed to take the foot off the gas and then invite the pressure on. And we were the team with the extra man. We should have been pressing more. But we hung on. I say hang on because if the penalty goes in, we are hanging on for a point potentially. But I thought Argyle were the better team after that 10 minutes we got in. When especially that chance near the end of the first half, you were saying when you literally ripped past the near post. If that goes in, especially dead on half time, it's a different game. But I just felt, it sounds weird at 3-0, but it felt like we started coming into the game. We were hanging on. It was especially when the goal went in, and then until I got the penalties. So Plymouth got the penalties, sorry. Oh, great! I've never been that nerve-wracked for ages, except the playoff final 2017. But there's no doubt it's like wow. And if he burns, it's a different game.
Mike, just looking at what Locks 9 just posted, that's the second away game Reading have won this season. Yeah, we did note that you'd only won 1 on the Tuesday preview show. Gavin, I'll come to you now. From a finishing point of view, I sort of commentated on that in the Darlington game when they went 1 up and said, I've said it on the show, if we come up against a team that can finish, we will have problems. And obviously that showed with those 2 goals after the penalty. And obviously Plaguey was missing in the game. The only sort of real experience was probably Edwards in there in reality after rules went off. And it's clear that I know people have been critical of Ross. He didn't have his best game. I think he isn't too bad, but we definitely look more solid with Plaguey in there, and we just got to hope he can get back sooner. But yeah, it's the quality of finishing. When we've got teams that can do that and put it away, we've been lucky, haven't we, in previous games where the finishing's been poor and we've probably got away with it.
I think we've defended better in previous games. Apart from the first goal where Saranola fell asleep against Doncaster, I thought we defended really well. The previous 3 1-0 wins, including the Virtue Trophy, we've defended brilliantly. I thought we held our with those 2 banks of 4 out of possession were very good. We were just a bit dull the other end. I thought our creativity was much better, especially second half with Amici on the pitch. What you lose with Amici though is Dale or Benarous's defensive instincts to get back and track back and make tackles, because he's a bit of a luxury player in the sort of in the Whittaker type mould. But my gut feel is if it was 11-11, I think it would have been a very good game of football, and I think one side would have won probably 4-3, something like that, if I'll be honest. I think it would have been a cracking Boxing Day sort of tie. But going back to the back four, Mike, I'd say, yeah, Pleggy's the older head. He's a good leader. I didn't think Ross had a bad game, but he certainly was nowhere near his best. Yeah. I actually nicknamed Alex Mitchell Maldini after the first half, because he sort of took on 2 players and laid it off. Suddenly, I think he nicked Pleggy's boots, because he suddenly had a great touch with his right and left foot and was playing passes like I've never seen him before. And I completely outshone his defensive centre half partner in Ross. So if we can get Pleggy back for one of these 3 games coming up, or 1.5 of these 3 games coming up, I think we'll be in a much better position. But yeah, I think that the heads were lost. I noticed someone's thing saying basically if Manti had Dangley, she'd be my uncle, and that 10 minutes did cost us. Yes, it did. But I think the Argyle, where we were all screaming for the head coach to go and the chairman to sell his shares for 50p in a Mars bar and leave the club, and all the other bedwetting that went with it, came when, if we'd been in that mindset, we'd have lost 5 or 6-0.
Yeah.
Maybe more, right? And it had been complete capitulation. The guys would have been booed off at the end, and it would have been an absolute horror show of a Boxing Day.
Yeah. But
this new team, they play well through the thirds. The patterns of play for our very quick transitional goal for Amici was superb. Boateng's weight of pass was great to get high up the pitch. I think it was Mumba, off memory, I've seen the highlights, who got the ball to him really quickly. And Amici in space didn't try and tip it in the box and flick it around the keeper. He just put it on his left peg and whacked it home in the top corner. So we did, I think our pattern to play when we had the ball and we were confident. And I think this is it. The old Argyle confidence would have lapsed. We'd have got walloped. The confidence would have sucked out the team. We'd all be biting our nails come 5-3, or sorry, 7:40 on Monday night, going, oh, here we go. What team's going to turn up? If we're low in confidence, to go 1-0 down, we're going to lose 2 on the bounce. This team, I thought, were really confident, which is why I'm probably getting called a happy clapper tonight. But I thought patterns of play were good. Defensively, we were better until the 4th goal, but by then it was kind of stretch. But going forward, Amici, I thought, was excellent. Mumba, I thought, was excellent. The 2 holding midfielders, Wiradoo and Boateng, I thought, had very good games. And Talai was a menace up front. Yes, he didn't hit his penalty how he wanted to. But as I say, if the keeper goes the wrong way, that nestles in the back of the net, and we all start saying, you know, what a great penalty taker and blah, blah, blah. Algo 83's literally just wet the bed. Can I get you to go onto Hypnos's website and buy a nice expensive mattress, because my share price will go up. So I'm not overly upset. I think the confidence will flow back into Wickham on Monday, having reviewed their game. Luton walloped them because they just performed a really high press, really high press, and they cracked. And you know, one of the goals, I think the centre half kicks it past the keeper right into the path of their centre forward, who literally, like a 5-a-side when everyone's knackered, just sort of rolls it in. He could have put it on the goal line, got on his hands and knees and nodded it over, because no one went back to catch him. So they were completely staffed. I think that's 2 on the bounce that Wickham have lost now. This one convincingly away from home, and now they're having to travel down to the West Country in a very busy, hectic period. So they're going to lose another day's training by coming back, because it's a long way down. So I am confident. I think the team played pretty well, apart from that mad 10 minutes. I think if someone else other than Joe Rolls had been sent off, we wouldn't have conceded 3, because I think everybody would have been settled down by his presence in the middle of the midfield. But we took the one person that would have settled us down, apart from Joe, and said, put your foot on the ball, kick it in the rose head, slow the game down, win a foul, reset, was wandering down the tunnel. So I think that was our biggest set of circumstances that made us lose this game. Referee aside, which, every week we could pick the referee's performances apart. They are absolutely awful. I think I've seen 2 referees all year. The away game at Doncaster, I thought the guy had a really good game. He was anonymous. And the lady at, was it Burton? And I know, funny enough, we've won both those games convincingly, so you're going to say it was a good referee. But they didn't try and become centre of the
Abigail,
of the world.
Abigail.
And
Martin.
they didn't try and issue cards to managers and basically try and be the spotlight. And I think, unfortunately, Durkin Jr., it seems to have, the apple's not fallen very far from the tree from Daddy, who was also a penis. And he wants to make the whole game about him as well. So it is what it is. We are where we are, but that's why I take confidence. And I think that confidence of the performance for 60 minutes plus the week before will take into Wycombe.
Yeah. So Spencer's totally disagreeing, and just I'm just trying to find
Shock.
why can't I see the messages now? But Sam Branch, sorry, apologies. I mean, Sam, by all means, just give some of your reasons. I know it's not always easy in the chat, but he said there's so many problems, but what's being said now, you wouldn't think it. The new Argyle question mark. I mean, Harvey, I get to a degree where Sam's coming from. I think because of the ups and downs of performances, I mean, it's mad that our away form is outstripping our home form this season. Obviously, you go to every game apart from the obvious one that you should have gone to and missed it because you had to go Christmas shopping. Is your evening? I think I can absolutely see where Gavin's coming from, and to that degree. I mean, when we had Plaguey back, Edwards in, Rawls in, it was a solid side. We didn't have them in against Doncaster, or Edwards was, but we didn't have Plaguey and Dale were missing, as well as Patterson in that game. But we still, everybody played their part. Even Ross had a good game in that one. It was a really good performance. And then it is this brain fart, the decision. It was a pen, the red card, harsh, all that jazz, and you lose a key playmaker and someone who's there managing and controlling midfield. So I can absolutely see where there is light at the end of the tunnel. We've just got to sort out this discipline side and deal with it, and just deal with the issue that when something goes against us, we don't go and collapse. And against Doncaster, we went 1 down in 4 minutes and we didn't collapse. But is there anything where you think you would also add to what, say, the likes of Sam might be referring to there? And any more thoughts from you?
I don't know really, because you can look at this Argyle side and you can look at the differences we've had from last season's relegation, and you can look at the similarities, which is, the team isn't confident enough. The team is struggling with goals, bar from one person, which is obviously going to take a strain. If you look at it, Tolai he may look and play like a robot, but he's still human. There's going to be games where we can't rely on him to pull us out of the mud. For example, yesterday with a penalty, it happens. But that's the fortune of having a January transfer window, where we have been told in the fans forum we have got players coming in. We've still got loan spots available. There's
two.
And whether or not we're going to offload, it looks as if we're probably going to offload Dale because of his injury, which isn't a huge miss, I don't think. I think there's certainly players we can bring in that'll be better. McCabe
Where did you hear that from? Where did you hear the Dale thing from?
Oh, it was all over X.
It's just conjecture at the moment, isn't it?
TC said in his press interview that he ain't going anywhere. He's going to be out for 8 weeks, and he's an important player to have around the changing room, and he'll be here till the season.
Right.
See, that's where I disagree. In this Argyle side, which is struggling, and you've got the opportunity to maximise an 8-week injury into a week by bringing someone else in, I think that's where it should be utilised. McCabe is struggling to get into the squad. So for me, I think that's a no-brainer. I think that we've got to thank him for his services he's gave. But then
Harv, just on that point,
Yeah.
Knowing how difficult it is to get quality players, there could be a situation where Argyle try and decide to hold on to him until another option comes up in Jan. Because if they can't find another option, is he better to have when he can come back and be fit than sort of risk sending him back and then finding out that you actually don't get a replacement for him?
That's the argument. That's exactly. You know, it's not plain black and white. You know, there's many loopholes to it. But yeah, that's for the decisions for people that are paid extortionate money to do. If I was on the money that Derek Adams and all the other directors of football are on, then I'm sure I'd have the £1 million answers for the questions. But no, I think there's this season is a turnaround. I think this season is a learning curve, and it's got to be the start of a build up. And we've just got to take it one step at a time. But that first step is obviously solidifying our position in League One, which I don't think we're far off.
Yeah, I'm just going to read out a couple of comments. Sam, I'll disagree with you on this one, saying Dale isn't good enough. I don't disagree, though, with Alex's point that he said, I think, the other day as well. Dale has got great pace and passion, but no end product. But I do feel that with the way Aseni and Talai were playing and the way that made such a difference, we showed Aaron Kuzak's analysis after that Doncaster game. You feel the likes of Dale can get more involved when you've got two players up front that can run off each other and create space and create chances. So again, we're probably not seeing that end product because our end product at the top hasn't been, Talai aside, hasn't been great creating enough for them. Jade, we did confirm, I did try and pick my finger up when you gave the comment. It's only a 1-game ban, thankfully, for Rules is sending off because it wasn't violent conduct. McCabe, I think, would be one that would go back. Benarous, is he on loan or did we sign Benarous?
No, Benarous
is ours from Bristol.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Suits can go. I think he's just saying Argo 83. Suits can go to Mumba, Hazard. I'm going to come on to Hazard in a minute. I'll read a few more comments, and I'm going to show the goals for all of us suffering apart from Mike on the screen here. And I think we do have another Reading fan in. Did I see that? Goat Boy said you ours.
You ours, yeah.
So you've got some company with you tonight. What else have we got here? Jack Natmanu. Hope your little dog that you got, it seems, over Christmas is doing well. Very cute indeed. Reading were good for 10 minutes, he says, and that was it. The rest of the game was all us. I'd give them a bit more than that, 10 minutes really. But they made us chase shadows and they finished their chances. That's all you need to get your 3 points. Locks 9 took a Senny off. Yeah, I want to come to the guys for that one after the goals. But I didn't get that either, said Jade. I was a bit, why has he done that so quick? Right, let me show the goals and we'll get a good angle of the penalty as well to see it again. And we can suffer for the next couple of minutes while I roll these.
Whoa.
So a bit of a melee going on here in the box. There it goes, cross goal. You can see Rules there. We'll see the replay again. Very happy in his decision immediately, the ref, with a red card.
It's a bit quick, I think. I think he doesn't think about it.
No, correct.
And there's 2 players on the line as well. I mean, that's got to be mitigation, I think.
But you can see him there. He has got his arms around his waist by the looks of it there. But for me, it did look like he shoved himself down. But I'm not denying you're going to get those, and they're going to get given.
Yeah, there's not enough contact there for me.
I don't think he pulls him down. But you're going to get a penalty for that. Good finish as well, in fairness. You were sat right at the back, weren't you, Mike, as well, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
A great pen as well.
Very good pen. Get the side netting. Yeah.
That's exactly what Talai should have done. Was left foot,
How many times have they shown this?
They seem to show every goal about 3 times. I think it's 4 minutes actually. It's one of their longest ones. They're stretching it out. There you go. Ball pushed out wide, unmarked. That's Benarous trying to come in.
Just get rid.
Yes,
Here we go.
Yeah.
There
Put
we
it
go.
in Rose dead.
And to be
By
fair,
the way, there was a massive deflection on that. I was sat right behind it.
it's not a powerful shot.
No,
Connor Hazard couple of other times there.
Sat behind it, the legs of whoever it is, Mitchell stops the flight of the ball, which is why it looks like it's being dived over by Hazard, because it just takes all the pace off it.
Yeah, there's the other one that I think.
And this is ridiculous because there's no here. We've just gone. Our minds are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was another Mumba mistake, Jack, but he did set up a meat chief and did so well in getting that ball to him in the first place.
But there's goal.
That's another soft one as well. I think Hazard's got to save that.
Yeah, I'm going to come on to Hazard when we go to the player ratings because I thought he had a shocking game. He gave up for the fourth.
I think
he was every time he hit the ball into touch as well. He did his usual. I'm going to blame the person who's not 19'3" to head it back into play.
So this is where we started to come into the game. I also don't disagree with Jay Brown's comment at the top. And dragged down by the neck, I felt, as well. Florinolo, I thought, had a reasonable game, but for what it was, he seems up and down in games.
And I don't think their keeper, although we only conceded one, I thought he looked very, very shaky.
In possession, he was awful on the floor.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the real big chance. I think it's a Mumba header across from Belarus.
Yeah, that's on target. It's in.
Yeah, and for a short man, he does. And again, got to give him credit where he does make mistakes at times. Unless it was Sorinola, but it was a brilliant jump for the header.
No, it's Mumba.
It was Mumba, yeah.
So your keeper's
really
nowhere near it.
No.
Let's see how far wide it goes in this one. It's not
keeper
far.
does
Look at that, look.
This is a great goal, by the way. Threads this perfectly, and then just bang.
And Mike, you were saying to me the keeper does get his hands to it and pushes it into the corner from what he's seen his end. So there we go.
He's hit that hard.
Yeah, hit with some venom. It was a brilliant ball from Mumba to Boateng. Mumba actually, what it doesn't show, just to pause it here a second, what it doesn't show is the way Mumba gets the ball out of defence from, I think it was a corner, rides a challenge, rides a challenge, and then feeds the ball to Boateng, who then beautifully crosses it to Amici.
Do you know the big key point there for me?
Go on.
We left Talai on the halfway line when we had a corner, which dragged two of their players up and meant we could transition.
Yeah,
Most times we've got 11 in the box, which makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I did see that happen in the game. Yeah, you're right. Right, here we go. This is the Mumba penalty. Which again, linking up with Boateng, and we said it on Tuesday after the Doncaster, the after Doncaster game, where Boateng, Mumba, Storinola all linked up really well. Yeah.
Can I just say as well, are they going to show the bit where he gets wrestled, where he gets pushed over afterwards? Wiridu, when the linesman's about 3.5 yards away from him on the pitch?
I don't think so. Because
it's a double pen all day.
Left.
Ready? Here, look, have that. He just points him to the floor. The linesman's still on the pitch. He's about 5 yards away.
Shocking. There we go. And then there we go. This was.
And by the way, we're wide open here.
It looked offside. We had a guy, Ben Bennett Flora mentioned it earlier.
From where I was, it was about a yard and a half offside.
Well, he was constantly shouting, "Oh, we've seen it, it's offside," for like 10, 15 minutes after the goal. It's like, it isn't going to make a difference. Just move on, man.
But he was a yard and a half off.
Lovely to see Hazard made a great effort. Big effort. That fourth. Great effort.
And that's it. So let me go to the player stats. And as I do, I'm just going to read out some of the comments that have come in. Where we go. Typical soft penalty. Jack Knappman saying he backed into rules and hit the deck. That's where I just think he did make the most of it, but you are going to win penalties for that. Although Talai, when he was wrestled down from the neck, didn't seemingly get his. Locks9 saying, look more like the Reading player falling backwards. Andrew T saying it's a pen and a red. If you go by the letter of the law, you wouldn't argue with that, but feel the red was harsh. Andrew Bam saying definitely a penalty. Simon Fort, defending should be goal side, not behind, ball watching. Another Mumba mistake. Obviously going in for their second. Yeah, he should have dealt with it, but Heads all at sea again, and others could have done better and amongst those goals. Argo83 saying, is this a Reading fans podcast? Yeah, exactly. I said to Mike, we're just, with him being on, with him dedicating so much time to the show, checking in and watching in, we'll give him a bit tonight. So Ben Bennett saying, also good to see the Reading fan in here. Jay Brown, this is the point I was referring to. She said, I was sat in the Mayflower right by the corner flag and the ref missed Talai being dragged to the floor by a Reading player. Alex at Argyle saying the third goal is horrendous. What is Ross doing? Yep, 2 chances to really deal with it. Mumba's and then Ross's in those goals, sadly not dealt with. Jack Knappman saying defensively Mumba is so poor, he needs to stay up the pitch and away from defending. What else have we got? Alex saying Hazard is so bad at home park. We'll come to that. The Soul 68, good to see you in. Mines have gone. That's a problem for the manager to sort out. Argo 83 saying, I'm an Italy fan and we play Northern Ireland and I can guarantee Hazard has a blinder in goal for them. Like that. I'm going to come then to the match stats, the player stats, as we like to bring you on the show. Hazard with a 5, I think that is, not a 6. My eyes are letting me down a little bit.
Hazard's a 5, yeah.
Yeah, Sorinola 5.7, Mitchell 6.6, Ross 5.9, Edwards, who had a great game, 7, and tried everything to get up the pitch. Mumba 6.5, Rules obviously 4.6 as he got sent off early on. Boateng 7.2, just edges Edwards there in terms of the best score for Argyle. Benarous 6.3, 5.8 to Aseni, but didn't have much to do as he was subbed after the pen, and Talai with a 5.4. So Hazard, and Harvey, I'll come to you again being a keeper. I don't know what it is, but for me, it's not just some of his being rooted on the spot and not being confident. I mean, saw him punching corners recently and then didn't seem to want to come out and try and take command. And then when you need that quick transition or turnaround of play, I could even see Mumba and Mitchell getting annoyed with him in the second half because he just dawdled distributing the ball. And that's where I just think Hammond has better distribution at this moment in time. I think you can't argue that one or the other is better as a shot stopper because they're both been hit and miss. But I think distribution-wise, on the turnaround, when you're down to 10 men, that's where someone like Hammond, I think, does a far better job than Hazard.
Yeah, I feel personally that Hazard's lost interest in the club. I feel certainly for the past couple months, quite regularly, if you see his body language in warm-ups and in the game, he often looks quite slumped. Like you said there, he's very slow. There was a bit in the second half where he had the ball at his feet, and I think it was a good 6-7 seconds. I'm pretty sure it was either 3-0 or 3-1. And yeah, I just feel like he's not really interested. There might be things going on though. Obviously, he's a human, not just a footballer. So he might have family problems. He might be missing home or something. You don't know. But I feel like it's definitely something going on with Hazard, and whether or not he needs a move for a fresh start to regain confidence or whatever. Maybe he believes that he's able to be in the championship. He's a championship keeper.
Yeah, there's that.
You don't know. But for Ashby Hammond, I feel like he's probably licking his lips, waiting for an opportunity. I feel like he deserves one. Yes, he's made a few mistakes this season, his biggest one being against Bristol Rovers, but every keeper makes mistakes, So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Ashby Hammond in that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I find it hard to sort of see that they will change a goalkeeper up. I mean, I just was laughing at the question that came in saying from Simon Fort saying, would Hazard get in the Reading team? And Mike shaking his head. I mean, from what you saw of our goalkeeper, Mike, what's your initial thoughts of him?
He's poor. But you see him live, he's poor, and obviously coming on these things, he didn't seem to be the best. I mean, yesterday I thought our keeper's distribution was bad for errors, but watching him, and we had players taking our goal kicks with him, with our goalkeeper, but he didn't look comfortable at all, Hazard. He didn't look comfortable at all. Even when he first came out for the warm-up, he just, as Bobby said, looked disinterested. And he can just seem like it, because obviously you were training that end. The fighters, well, he just did not look interested at all. But yeah, he did look poor yesterday, and I mean, maybe he could have taken two or three of the goals. Maybe the penalty, obviously not. No one's going to save that penalty, but I think the other three, he could have easily dealt with it better.
Well, I think the third and fourth. I think the third and fourth as a goalkeeper. I think the third has gone through him, and him being as tall as he is, and that fourth one, it's marginal, but it's just a hand. It's a hand out, and for someone of his caliber, that should be his bread.
He almost gave up, didn't he? Yeah, he almost gave. And I think this is where, when Pleggy was in the back line, working superbly well with Mitchell, the experience of Edwards there, in Galloway, even when obviously he's at the AFCON. But you like as a keeper, obviously in the back four, if you've got that solid sort of back line in front of you, that helps with your game as well. I don't doubt that at all. And then when you haven't got that and there's mistakes going on, he was right to blame. I mean, for Mumba and Ross not dealing with it better, let alone, as Gavin said, there was the odd deflection on one. But I think it's just he just seems to want to point the blame elsewhere. Whereas I think the back line, when they're unsettled or they're changed up again, is they need you to command your area so that they feel that they're not having to look over their shoulder and worry what might be going on behind. And I just want to see a bit more of that. I mean, Gavin, he might want to think that he's in the Championship, and I can sort of understand that. He's maybe frustrated. I'm not saying that he isn't acting the professional, because I'd never say that on a player that going out there to try and do that, because it won't be helping his cause if he does want to get into the Championship again. But I mean, is it time, Gavin, to give Hammond a chance again?
I think so. I was Hazard's sort of biggest pom-pommer for a long time, but he just. The body language for me, it says a lot. And every time he overhits a goal kick or a play out and it goes into touch, he's effing and jeffing at the player who's not jumped 19'3" to keep it in play. If he misses a player with a kick out, he complains at the player for not being in the right place. It just feels like he's just not enjoying his work. And he may well be enjoying his work. He's from Northern Ireland, so that says a lot. It just rains over there, and it's not the happiest place in the world. So he might enjoy moaning. I don't know. I do often. But it just looks to me from Hazard at his best in the Champ, probably under Miron, was probably his best run of form in the club. He was on it. He was commanding. He was encouraging. He was shouting. He was patting his defenders on the back when they were diving in and making blocks. All that's gone.
Yeah.
He just looks like he's pissed off being over the whitewash. Well, he can be the best keeper in Christendom. If his mind's not in it, get him out of the action. And bring Luca Ashby-Hammond in, who I think Delazouche has done very, very well when he's been on form. He's just had some absolute calamities, which has led everybody to jump up and down him on social media very quickly. The biggest one, again, I think, as I've probably just said, was the Bristol Rovers piece where we'd fought tooth and nail for 75, 80 minutes with 10 men to take this to a penalty shootout where I thought we had the players to get us over the line, and he throws one in the back of the net in the 94th minute, which in the pissing rain.
Yeah.
Did he want to do that? Absolutely not. But his distribution, I'll hark back to the women's game there. So their keeper, Cull, has probably got the best feet in the club. She's brilliant. I've said to the guys behind me, I'd love to chop the middle of her shins down to her feet off and give them to Hazard, because I know she'd probably be upset because it'd be the end of her career. But her distribution with hand and feet is excellent. She plays like a sweeper. We don't have that in Hazard. Do we have that in Ashby-Hammond? Yes.
I think as well, Gavin, and I want to wrap up on Hazard because we've got to get through a fair bit still, but it's almost when you've got Aseni and Talai looking and doing what they did against Donny, and you just think if you can get that ball out quicker with a Benarous, getting involved and getting better and better with Mumba, Boateng, Sorinola linking up as they seem to be getting themselves together and understanding each other, then you've got a better chance of catching teams out, haven't you? Andrew T say, never agree with Gav so much. Offer a lie down on my dry mattress. Alex
that's
at Argyle
class.
saying Peterborough mistake is on Hammond, cost us the game. Jana, we have no one to replace him, keep him in. Hazard's time is up. There's a fair, apart from Jana, there's a fair few that are in agreement with us tonight. Moving forward on that back line, Ross was another one that came up with criticism, seen from the comments earlier and some that I read out about him stepping off and not being strong enough, with players chasing him down and not being great at winning headers. Harvey, do you want to give some thoughts on Ross's performance for you?
I think Gav alluded to it earlier. Yes, he didn't have the best game, but that wasn't the worst game we've seen for him. I think that it's a rough one being a centre half in a poor side with Argyle because you're often in the firing line. I thought of Mitchell a few weeks back. But I think Mitchell's a great centre half.
Mitchell had extenuating circumstances at the time.
Yeah,
in fact, his mother was about to leave us. So, I don't think I would probably have played my best football if my mother was on
no, that's very true. That is very true. But I do think our best centre half in the club is Pleguezuelo. I think that he's head and shoulders above everyone else, if I'm being honest. But with Ross, I do think he's a good centre half. Yeah, I think he's a good centre half.
Yeah, is he? I think he did well in the Doncaster game, but it didn't amount to much yesterday. But again, if we'd have not had
it's a big swap for him, isn't it? It's a big league jump, and we've seen it especially last season with Al Haj and Beidou, where they've swapped from international to the English league. And yes, the Championship is a lot better quality, but they struggled. And I think possibly we're seeing that with Ross. It's a big change. It's a culture change for him, and it's going to take some adjusting.
I think if we're in siege, which we were for periods when we got 10 men, you need Plaguey and Mitchell, right? But I think if you're controlling a game and there's let's say 25-30% of the traffic that you'd normally get when you're under siege, Ross and Plaguey are probably the best two footballing centre halves we've had for some time, because Maxi was okay, but he was a bit bud and thud. Katic was the biggest bud and thud merchant I've ever seen. Whack it anywhere, a bit like Mitchell has been, although he is refining his skills very, very quickly. And I'll say the way he took on those two players in the middle of the park yesterday and then sprayed it wide, I was like, hang on, what's going on here? Who's Nick? Whose boots have you put on today? But I think if we're say we win 2 of our next 3 and we're now pushing on the playoff place and we're confident we're dominating teams with more possession, I think Plaguey and Ross are the 2 standouts. If we're under siege, I'd put everything I have on Mitchell being there, because he puts his head on everything and kicks it away and does all the dirty, hard nonsense that a good centre half does. Ross less so, although he still heads and wins a lot of his headers. But I think he likes to bring it down, look up, and make a pass into the midfield forward, which when you're under siege, you haven't got that time of you just need to get it away. So I think he lost out in his physicality. I think, was it Wickham where he got bullied? Wickham away, where we got in the league, where he got bullied and conceded a goal from a header at the back post.
Possibly, yeah.
Wickham away in the league, we won 1-0.
Oh, sorry, no. Was it in the FA Cup back post where he got bullied out the way? Then Harvey, you were there. I wasn't.
Yeah.
But there was one game where I just thought, oh, come on, you're a centre half. You can't be thrown aside like a rag doll like he was.
I think it was.
But I don't have Sam Dan's memory, so I might.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Ross is probably technically our best centre half, and he's got height. Plaguey's probably our best all-round centre-half, but he's only, 5'11" on tippy toes or whatever he is. And I think Mitchell's our best defender. So you're got to manage the workload of those 3. Such can play there. He seems to be being suited more at right back. But I think if you've got those 3 on rotation for the rest of the season and they stay fit, we'll be better most weeks than we're not. But it means we just, can't have these stupid lapses where we go down to 10 men and all the other stuff that goes with it. And that's what's our downfall at the minute. I don't think it's one player in the middle of the park. I think, you bring Plaguey back into that side on Monday night with Mitchell, you'll see a difference, but Plaguey will need to have his workload managed, so Ross will slot back in. I think they'll be fine. as long as we can keep 11 players on the park, and when we go down 1-0 down, if we do go 1-0 down, we keep our heads like we did at Donny.
So just Accidental Pilgrim throwing an interesting one in there. Good evening to you, mate. Good to see you back in. Do we think Pleggy's angry knee is code for he's been sold and we don't want to risk a payday? Well, we'll find out sooner or later, won't we? And also just answering, I think it was Alex's question on who's conceded the most goals. It's Hazard on 19, Ashby Hammond on 18 in the league. Clean sheets wise, it's 1 to Ashby Hammond and 4 to Connor Hazard, care of FOTMob, as I was quickly looking as you asked the question. So moving on, let's go to a positive in that back line. I thought Edwards was trying to do everything in that game to make things happen. His drives forward and then getting back. I thought, oh my Lord, don't burn yourself out, in this first half alone, Edwards, before we get to the game against Wycombe on Monday. But again, another stalwart job from the captain there, and as he's getting those regular match minutes again, he seems to be getting back to full speed. Sorinola 5.7 on the left. He did get a lot of chances to pick crosses in, sadly, and even the corners, they didn't always beat the first man, but I didn't think he was horrendous throughout the game. Coming into Mitchell, obviously I've said on 6.6, again, okay, just in the type of game that it was. Up front of that, Mumba on 6.5, so come up with a bit of criticism in the chat today. The goals, certainly, but I don't disagree with Gavin. He was sort of the third best Argyle player against these ratings, if I've got that right. And he did have a better game, and what he did to win that ball, to get it to Boateng, to lead to Amici to score, I thought he did really well. His header that just went past the post as well. It was a better game from him. And Gavin, as I said just now, the link up with Boateng and Sorinola with Mumba does seem to be finding rhythm, if I can call it that.
Yeah. It's amazing when you put the similar team out with the same formation every week. They learn on the job and get better and start clicking as units. And that's kind of where we are now, I think.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm glad Rolls is only out for one game, because I think he slots back in for either Boateng or Wirral, depending on, and I think it's a bit of an audition on Monday night to see who plays alongside him when he's back. For me, it was probably just pitched at Wirral. I thought he was outstanding. But those sort of two side arms, Sorinola and Mumba, creating sort of space in going inverted, I suppose, for the midfield, is getting better. And Edwards and Amici in the second half, I thought were excellent as well. So, we got stuffed, but we got stuffed in 10 minutes, quite frankly. I'll keep saying it, but we did. And the rest of the game, take that in isolation, 10 versus 11, it was a very good game of football. 11 versus 11, I think with the will of the home park behind us and the noise and everything else, we probably would have got over the line. So, the boys have got to put a shift in on Monday night, haven't they? They really have, and they've got to really work hard now to make up for that mess that they created on Boxing Day. But I think that the team's starting to click. I think this 4-4-2 formation, I called it here 8-10 weeks ago. Just play 4-4-2, be awful to play against, and try and get some confidence. We've done that, and not saying it was my idea, but that's what I called for. We've done that, and I think the team are now beginning to gel and are playing some nice football, transitioning up the pitch. We don't need to have 70% possession. We don't want 70% possession, quite frankly. But we showed last year under Miron, we won games convincingly with 25, 28, 29% possession.
Yeah, it was 70-30 like a lot of the time, wasn't it?
So you don't need that. But I think we're starting to find our own playing style again. We're starting to get back to the sort of, and Harv, you watch every second of every game live. Patterns of play. We're starting to get back to where we were in September, where we were sort of tearing teams apart before we lost the sort of spine of our team. With a couple of additions, I think Harv's hit the nail on the head there. If we've got 2, maybe 3 good additions to the squad in January, with Watts coming back now any day, he'll probably make the bench on Monday night, one would assume, because he didn't this week and he was close. Amici back in form. Pleggy back, the list goes on. Mackenzie, potentially this mythical creature that we've signed, getting over the whitewash in anger and showing us what he can do in the new year. I don't see us in a bad place. I really don't. I think there are so many clubs so close to being promoted or in that top 6 or ended up in the relegation zone, that I think the cream's going to rise to the top quite quickly, to use an analogy, over the next 6 to 8 weeks, and then you build from there. But from what I've seen, I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed in the result yesterday. I'm disappointed in what we did yesterday, in terms of those 10, 15 minutes. But the rest of the performance, I'm actually quite I'm quite buoyed by it, as you can probably tell, which is why I've been labelled a happy clapper about 95 times in the last hour and 10 minutes.
I can't see Sam anymore, so he's obviously jumped off and gone elsewhere. Potentially, he might still be watching, so he might pop up again. David Mortimer saying Brad has said we was going to win. He lied to us again, but sadly, Dave, I also said such a thing and put a video on TikTok saying so. Egg on my face, as I said in my post-match clip as well. I'm not ignoring your mic as we come to the end of the players. I think the biggest disappointment for me yesterday as well, besides the loss, is I was so looking forward to seeing how Aseni and Talai would work at home after what we saw against Doncaster, and it was just a shame that he had to go off. Now, I haven't brought it up yet, so I'm going to bring it up now. The substitution for Aseni for Wiridu, Harvey, in your mind, did he need to make that straight away, or could he have given it 5 or 10 minutes? What's your view on that?
I think it made sense to do it straight away. I think that doing it straight away, it gives that bit more suspense time between to give thoughts that penalty taker's mind, to try travel his mind and try put him off in some way, shape or form, because it is a pressure penalty. Any penalty is a pressure penalty unless you're 6-7-0 up, especially at 0-0. With me though, I was, in hindsight, I was really disappointed that Aseni come off. I think, as Gav said in the chat, it was the right person to bring off, because I thought their keeper would have struggled with two men running at him. But yeah, I think bringing him off straight away, because I think that if you leave it to the next time the ball's out, you're still a bit disorganized. You haven't got a perfect middle there, which they would have set up and planned for. So yeah, I think straight away it was the right call.
Yeah, Gavin, I saw you nodding your head as well, so you're obviously in agreement. For me, I just felt I can get your point, Harv. I just feel that it probably just disrupted a few more things, and then Talai, I think, was thinking, oh my God, I'm on my own again up front, and when you probably needed to hit the ball and clear it and have someone just try and do something to hold it up, then there was no one other than Talai to try.
Mike, if you think about as a team, right, when we've been to 10 and done well, we've played 4-4-1.
Yeah.
So if you look at the 90 minutes that were 80 odd minutes, probably was not 85, 86 minutes at Bristol Rovers, it was 4-4-1. Okay. And we did pretty well. The team would have obviously trained, if it's a sending off, it's a 4-4-1. You wouldn't have put Aseni in the middle of midfield or as half a 10, half an 8. We needed two holding midfield players because we said to Mike on Thursday night, or Thursday night, whatever, two days before the game was, Tuesday night, thank you, that Savage Jr. And Will, what's his name? Sorry.
Lewis Wigg.
Wigg, sorry, I was going to say Wills. And Wigg, two are probably the brightest centre midfielders in the division, right? And they proved it. So if you'd had someone who doesn't play holding centre mid in that role, we'd be stuffed. They'd have run us ragged.
Yeah,
so I think it was the only decision we could have made. It wasn't the right decision for everything that the game plan was. But as TC said, after 11, 12 minutes, the game plan's ripped up and you start again.
Yeah, there probably is that. I don't know. For me, I was just like, just see what happens for 5 minutes. But I get it. I'm not one on the tactics side, as I've always said on the show. But that's why I wanted to ask the question to you guys. Mike, I'm literally going to flash it up, and I'm going to get you to pick out one player because I'm not giving you too much time on this. So your player stats, Wing was, as just mentioned, there was your star man at 9.3. Right score for Hitman, your star man of the game.
Yeah, he was definitely scored 2, set up the Marriott goal. And yes, it was offside. He set up the Marriott goal because he had 2 goals and an assist. But also Marriott had an assist as well. So I think they was our 2 best players. Our weak point was down our left side with Gerald Dorset, who's a centre back playing left back. And
and he's
I've got to have
score.
exposed that more. But but it was that squad for Lewis Swing was I'd say that's right.
That's all I'm giving you. That's all I'm giving you before everybody in the chat has get out from doing it.
He ran the game, didn't he? Wing ran the game. He was class.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, Wingy.
Yeah, so let me bring Gavin back in. So top stats on the game. So possession wise, fairly even in the end, but 56 to Reading, 44 to Argyle. Expected goals, obviously XG. Have you seen XG like that, Mike? Well, maybe against Luton, I don't know. 3.06 to Argyle's 1.14. We just make it above 1 again. Total shots 8 to Argyle, 21 to Reading. Wow. 2 shots on target for us, 8 to Reading, 3 which obviously were goals. Big chances, 1 to us, 4 to Reading. And possession, accuracy of passing, 81% to Argyle and 84 to Reading after they, for most of that first half when they scored, were getting us to chase shadows throughout the game. I have got Tom Cleverley's post-match. I'm just going to run that for you now.
I do want to talk about that chaotic period. You've been a player. I don't know how many times you've been in that sort of situation when it feels like every time a team goes forward, it feels like it's going to be a goal. What can be done in those scenarios to stop that from happening?
Yeah, you can get as many people behind the ball as possible, but structural changes are difficult in the heat at the moment, especially when there's a lot going on. And the problem was we didn't even make them wait 10 minutes for their next goal. It was real rat-tat-tat, one after another, and listen, I've not plugged on about it recently, but when you've got obviously Joey out there, but when you lose Pleggy and you lose Joe Rolls, we then all of a sudden look at a team that lacks experience again. So learning curves today, but the togetherness, application, fight for their shirt is there, and that's what I'll take from today.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. What is the big thing that you take from today's game?
Yeah, absolutely that, and we've got quality in our team with Zav coming back, and that I'm talking about obstacles. Our lack of creativity and threat was one, and we scored 5 goals last week. Could have scored 3 today, and so that is. Like I said, the final challenge is this place, and a group of players in there that deserve a little bit of luck as well. The amount of, I think that's 6 red cards for, 2 against, and 2 or 3 penalties for, and 7 against. So it'll turn.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few comments about if we'd have done better in that and given them that 10 minutes and this, that, and the other in other games, which I get, it's right. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to spend the whole 90 minutes being on your A game and making sure you walk away, whether it's a tough and hard-fought victory or a convincing one like Doncaster. You can't give any team... this league, Cardiff only just beat Exeter 1-0. They're top of the league by miles. Exeter have done well in their last couple of games. Luckily, it means that they're below us still at the moment. But... that is how up and down this league is. So you've got to be on it for the majority of the time. Mike, as you know, you could easily go from being in that 11th, like we just said, in a matter of a couple of games, you could be back down and in amongst it again. It's that league, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that tight. Because we got Peterborough on Monday, and they won the last minute yesterday. They're flying. But yeah, as you say, we could be 17th, 18th again come New Year's Day when we play Burton. So it is that tight. So yeah.
Or you could be in the playoffs. I mean, that's that's not discount that. Andrew T saying red cards and pens against have nothing to do with luck. They don't. At the end of the day, whatever we think of the penalty, you don't put your arms around a player in front of the ref like that. Locks9 saying ref gave him some beers to drown his sorrows in reference to Kami Tarasaki's was cleverly drunk. He sounds it with the hum of the mowers going on in the background. I think his important point, Harvey, is that togetherness, the way the lads did try and come at it, try and get something back in the game, did fight for the badge, which we've not seen fully when we've gone a goal down and they have literally collapsed, and it's been embarrassing. I mean, I know a lot of there was a good chunk of the fans that did walk out when the third goal went in and it was tight. But I think the final whistle and the fact that the fans appreciated that the lads did try and get back into it, frustrating 10 minutes that it was, as we've all digested. But that is good to see, at least, because if we'd have been lacking that again after that result against Donny, you would be even more worried. And I think that echoes Gavin's point and a few where we said tonight, where that's where you can see that light at the end of the tunnel. And that was a good showing in the end.
Yeah, 100%. I think that certainly there was an Argyle side this season that after the third goal went in the space of that 10 minutes, they collapse, they crumble, and that game finishes 5-6-7 and we don't get a shot on target. I think that on another day we win that 4-3 if we take our chances, with the ones we've seen. It's a difficult one, and you've got to give credit to Reading because they come down with a game plan and they executed their chances. And sometimes, as a football fan, you've just got to admit that, football, there's a winner or a loser, or both teams go with a point, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at Argyle 83 saying, shows how far we have fallen with fans clapping at a 4-1 loss at home. But it's better than Argyle 83, seeing them fall to a 4-1 loss and absolutely just down tools and not care.
I don't think they were clapping the result. I think they were clapping the effort.
Yeah, they were. He's taking the mickey, isn't he, with the crying out laughter emoji. But I'm sure he is from that. But that is my point, is that we did see some fight come back from them when they were down to...
Mike, just something else someone mentioned earlier about Mackenzie saying how much did we pay for him?
Oh yeah.
It was nothing. So his contract expired at Aberdeen, and he came to us on a free. He was a free agent. Just to let them know.
Yeah. It was Kami Tarasaki, I think, that asked that question, if my memory serves correctly. Let me just accidental pilgrim agreeing. No one was clapping a 4-1 loss. So let me just go to Wiradoo, who in the presser they used the clip from. He wasn't pitch side interviewed, and you can hear Chris Errington ask the question. So let's roll that one for you now.
Just try and find some consistency and certainly need to start winning some games at home park, because that's not happened really.
Yeah, that's our main target. We've kind of conquered the away. We're not where we want to be 100%, but we've managed to, that cloud over us away, we've managed to blow that away. Now it's really trying to get the home form up to scratch, and once we do that, I think that would be a good outfit. I think there's loads of positive to take from this team. I think we've seen it in the last 3 away games, so that this game here, I don't think we should be judged on this game, because once again, if you look at the game and watch the whole 90 minutes, we were really, really, really good. Except for the first half an hour.
Oh, I think that did abruptly end. So apologies for that. Let me just switch us back to this view. I think that Chris Errington's right. We've got to sort out the home form, haven't we? We can all see that. We're probably very fortunate that our away form has suddenly turned a corner. I think that's for him. For what Wiradoo said, and Gavin, you may have seen the whole of the post-match presser review. Yeah, was there much more else said in that?
No, not really. It was. I think there was a game of two halves, but not 45 and 45. It was like the first 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and the rest. Wiradoo, I think, sort of paid reference to the effort of the team, how they sort of, with 10 men, dominated for large periods and only got one reward. He did say that if Tolly scores the penalty, we go on and get something out of the game. He then caveated and said, Tolly's got us out of the shit more times than I care to mention this year. So, we're certainly not pointing the finger at him in the changing room that he missed the penalty. It's one of those things, blah, blah, blah. But no, it was sort of run-of-the-mill press conference, really, off memory. And there's only one interesting thing where I think Chris Errington went a little bit hard at TC, which I think is right to do so, to be honest, saying, you've been booked again, haven't you, Tom? So, is this now becoming unacceptable, your behaviour on the touchline? which I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. But it's true. I mean, he and he did say, look, I'm first to put my hand in the air, but he said that 3 or 4 times already. I've got to control myself better on the sideline. It'd be better to let Nance or the goalkeeping coach or whoever it is to bellow at the fourth, not him. But he just can't help himself, can he? It's like the inner Roy Keane rips out of him from all those years spending time in the changing room with him, and all of a sudden he's giving a volley to the fourth official about how crap his colleagues are, and he can't help himself, which I kind of get, because I'm a similar position, I have to say, sat about 70 yards above him. But yeah, it was a run of the mill press conference. Apart from that, there was a mention about Pleggy saying of his angry knee, and that he'd be probably in the squad or in the team on Monday, but they have to manage his. So apparently the surgeons just said this is a normal reaction from his surgery. He's basically had too much workload, and they have to manage it moving forward. So I imagine he'll be in for one of the next 2 games. And apart from that, it was quite run of the mill, I suppose.
Yeah, I just seen Simon Fort's comment at the top there. What about what Cleverly press conference? To me, he seemed happy about the game, and you could see it in that clip there. I think he is, because of you can't win, and we haven't shied away from that 10-minute spell of that cluster. Fuck, Sophie's now in bed. So, but sorry if anybody else's kids are listening, because that's what it was. But it's very much a case of then what happened after that. And like we just said, our heads would normally drop, etc., and we wouldn't do well from it. So we've got to just, he's seeing the light because he's gone through a hell of a lot. Alex Argyle asked us earlier if we're cleverly out or not. At this moment in time, it has swung a bit. I think, Derek Adams has made that difference. We discussed this the other night. We won't run over that again, but I think we can see stuff happening. And to note the comment about Wiradou saying he looks like he wants to leave, I just think that's his natural persona in the press conference. So, but I think he has come on and shined a lot. I was quite supportive of him early on when it wasn't going great, but when I know everybody else was against me on that, and I could understand and see that. But when he's come on recently, I think he's been really, really good in there. I mean, Harvey Wiradou, has he one that sort of started to impress you?
Yeah, I feel really bad for him. He's certainly there is a good player in him. I feel like he got far too unlucky with his start to the club. But I think it's very funny, very interesting that if you play a player in their natural position, they naturally play well. I think us chucking Wiradou at centre half, where at Fleetwood, I think I'm fair in saying he was more of a deep midfielder, a holding midfielder, and we chuck him in there yesterday, and he was one of our better players. Definitely, as Gavin said, it was his best performance so far of the club. But yeah, I feel like I would start him on. I'd start him on Monday. I would start Wiradou.
Yeah. Again, when he's playing in midfield, that's where he can be. Yeah, he has got that adaptability, and we've had to lean on that, or Cleverly has, and that's then sort of shown some of his weaknesses. Obviously, the penalty, I forget the clubs that we play against because my memory's like a sieve on that. But there have been those sort of silly decision making at times, but we could say that about a few players.
But he said in the press conference, they asked him about, you're playing midfield now, and are you enjoying yourself? And he said, yeah, because that's my position. Yeah. So he's very clear about it. He said, look, I played at centre half because we had loads of injuries, and I played where I was asked to, and I did my best. But he's basically said, I'm a midfielder.
Yeah, no,
right.
And that's his favoured place. But unfortunately, with the injuries, we've had to use players in positions that ideally are not their favoured one. Nicholas G, bring on Wickham to pit things right. Evening to you, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Debbie Firth saying another good watch. Thanks, guys. We're all on Monday. Fingers crossed by everybody. So yeah, thank you for coming on. Paul just confirming. I forget who it was at the very start of the show before we went live. Asked. So someone did see the flag, Paul, at a Parkway game today. So I'm guessing one of the lads took it down there. It's a brilliant flag, actually. They had it at the Christmas party, and I get one done for my background here as well. We've also got Accidental Pilgrim saying we need to provide a dummy fourth official for Cleverley to batter during the match. Well, did anybody see that thing? You stick to your desk and you can punch it in anger.
Yeah.
Advertised for Christmas. Maybe we should get him one of those.
Get one of them, send it to the
Yeah,
club.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking what else I've got on here. I don't think there's anything else. Or not. I have got Harvey's video, but he's on with us, so we won't play unless you think it's worth me playing it, Harv, for tonight. I mean, we've had you in, so
I can't remember what I said.
No, there we go. Well, we'll leave it because I'm conscious we're running an hour and a half in nearly now, and we're about to wrap up. So, Mike, thank you for joining us again tonight, yeah, it was one of those where one of us was either going to be smiling, the other wasn't. It was obviously your day on Boxing Day. Any final words from yourself?
No, just thanks for having me on twice. I'm glad I wasn't too smug. Going too smug. I've enjoyed it. So, as a Reading fan living in the Plymouth area, obviously I look out for all your results now. Good luck to you on Monday against Wickham. I hope you win every game now, except on March the 14th. 4 days from my birthday at the Select Carleton. But other than that, yeah, it's been fantastic. And I'll back in the comments now. And yeah, fantastic. Thanks for having me on. And good luck for the rest of the season, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the return leg, Mike.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And he will still join us in the comments.
Definitely.
So I'm going to go because Gavin's just reminded me. I did have some extra bits. It's the lineup. So while that loads, Kami Tarasaki says, "I'm off now. Good luck, Reading. Bye, everybody." Simon thought, "Hi, Harvey. I'll be looking for your vid on Monday. Cheers." Paul Bailey saying they were there as a team at Parkway, hence why the flag was there. Ben Collins saying you guys are so much more positive than Argyle Life. They are clashing and gone live with us at the same time tonight. So thanks for that. But we're in our regular slot on a Saturday night. But anyway, but no, look, everybody's going to have their views. Like, we've been critical where we've needed to be critical. But there you go. So yeah, quickly fire through your lineup then for Wickham, Gavin, for us.
So I've put Plaguey back in the back four. Otherwise, it remains the same. Kept Hazard in goal, but as we've gone through this pod, I'm now actually thinking probably a change to Ashby Hammonds. I don't think TC will make it, but I actually think it might be interesting to throw him in and certainly get the ball moving up the quicker from transition. I've started Amici on the right wing. I thought he was excellent for 45 minutes yesterday. TC said in the press conference that he'd be ready to start now after those useful minutes, so he has to start for me. Boateng and Weary doing the holding midfield, who I thought were excellent, to be honest, for the time they were there. Boateng, good assist. Weary, I thought had the best game in the shirt, as I said. I've kept Mumbo on left wing. I thought, apart from a couple of defensive lapses, which you're going to get, because I think if Sorinola plays there or Benarouz plays there, they're all not particularly gifted in the defensive department, so you're much of a muchness. But I thought he drove up the pitch really well, and unlucky not to win the header and score, but his ball at his feet, turning and driving up the pitch was much better. And then I obviously kept Aseni and Tulai in the top two. So spine of the team is strengthened with Plaguey back in the team. Weakened slightly in the middle by Rolls, although I thought we were a good game, and it would just be nice to see the top two at home, wouldn't it? Hopefully for 90 minutes, so we can keep 11 players on the pitch, and have a right go at Wickham on the high press, who I thought Aseni and Tulai are both very good at. They were completely outdone by Luton with a high intense press. So if we can replicate that, someone said 6-0. That's probably worth a fiver. It'd be typical Argyle, wouldn't it, to lose 4-1 and then win 6-0 a game later. And also, I think this team have probably got the bit between their teeth. I think they're a bit pissed off and a bit angry with how things happened a couple of days ago, because it was all set, full house, for them to have a beautiful afternoon and get a glorious Boxing Day. And I think they feel they'll let us down. So I think they'll come back with a vengeance. And that positivity and that confidence, I think, is still there. So that's the side.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. That I'm just going to show you Carl's quickly. I'm guessing it is it? No, oh sorry, it still says Gavin's, but trust me, it is Carl's because he has. Let me just change the little graphic. There we go. So has he got the same as you? I think.
No.
What's he changed?
he has. No, that is mine. Carl's earlier had.
Oh no! Hang on.
Had
I know
Belarus
why.
at left midfield, not Mumba.
He did have. Hang on, let me just get the image up because I didn't download it and upload it. I should say. I think that's his. It's going to be refresh any minute now. Yeah, so he's put Ashby Hammond in goal. So there's Carl's thoughts on that decision. Edwards, Mitchell, Plaguey, Soranolis are the same. Amici, Wiradou, Boateng, Belarus instead of Mumba, and Talai and Aseni up front. So so it's the Mumba and Belarus changing, isn't it? Is the difference. Harvey, what are you saying between those two lineups? And what do you think your score prediction will be?
Ooh, I'm not the person to ask for score predictions, it's the dad. But I see that both of them lineups I'd be happy with. I think Belarus is a cracking player, but I don't think he's got 90 in him. If I'm being honest with his track record of histories. So maybe starting Mumba and seeing how it goes and bringing Belarus on, or you vice versa it. But score predictions: 4-1 Argyle. 4-1 Argyle. And I'll tell you scorers as well. I'll tell you scorers. I reckon Tolai will score, guaranteed. I reckon he'll score a penalty. I reckon Amici scores again. And I'm going to give one to Wiradou and one to Aseni.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Gavin, what would your score prediction be?
I think we will win 3-1. And I think it will be 2-2 Talai and 1 to Mumba.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really boring. I never bet against us losing, but I'm just gonna say 0-0 because I was all cock and ball thinking that we would score and win about 3-0 and completely egg on my face. So I'm gonna just say 0-0. But I like the sound of Harvey's with Talai wanting to pit things right. He'll know that penalty could have changed that game, and he's a type of player that will come out and try and make amends. So like those two score lines. Now. I will, before I give final closeouts, actually, Mike, I didn't ask you because you've got a hell of a game away on Monday. You're playing Peterborough, who also, I think if I'm correct, got a last-minute winner, which also jumped them up to that joint 11th or whatever it is with you. So what's your feelings and what do you think your score will be on Monday?
Well, obviously, after yesterday, as I said on Tuesday, I predicted 1-1 for the game. I'll be very happy. The way Peter have been playing recently, I'll be very happy with that on Monday. But I can actually see us losing it. And then they're going to beat Burton at home on New Year's Day. So I can see us, the way Peter will play, I can just see, we're like that. We'll get a result like we had. And then all of a sudden back down to earth again. But we could be 15th, 16th, 17th again. At the minute, we're that inconsistent. But so I can see us losing, but in all fairness.
Their run of form at the moment is they've won 4 on the bounce, as opposed to in your last 5. It's obviously 2 on the back-to-back wins with the Luton one and us, and then 2 defeats and a win. They've lost 1 in their 5 games, so that's going to be a hell of a game. And back-to-back away games for you. But let's see what happens there. We'd ideally like 0-0, I think. But Harvey, final words from you then before we sign off tonight.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I don't know if any of you've seen it. I've seen it on the Argyle free chat that Will Steele, the ex-Southampton manager, the one that's famous for his time in France where he'd done multiple team talks in different languages. He was there at the game on...
he was.
So I think that's
he was a guest of the board, I think, because he was in the toilets outside at half-time on the... in by the director's box, so I saw him coming out.
That's very interesting.
Those ginger locks are unmistakable. As a fellow ginger,
would any of you, with his track record with Southampton, would any of you take him over Cleverley right now if he was given? No.
He's another unproven and experienced manager. So why upset?
No, but it's very true. But it's a talking point. It's a talking
Yeah,
point.
it's an interesting. To be fair, because I don't really look at managers and their records and stuff like that. I wouldn't even. It's not even worth me
Well,
passing comment. So,
he struggled severely at Southampton, didn't he?
yeah. I mean, there's no. I'm guessing there's no sort of setup where he would come in and join the coach and staff. I'm guessing that would be two egos. So yeah. So in that sense, and I think it is interesting. Does it send a message in some way? If you're cleverly, I'm sure he would have been told, but it's a bit of an odd one if he is.
It may well be
board.
that he's eyeing up a League One job and he's doing some scouting of the league, and he's been invited by the board to come in and watch the game, because he was there with his wife, I think, or certainly his other half. I don't know if he's married. But I think he's a student of the game, isn't he? So he'll probably want to get as many football games as possible. There may well be early chats with another chairman of a League One side that's struggling that he wants to do some homework on, and Reading or Argyle may well be his future opponents in January. Who knows?
Possibly.
But-
Yeah,
yeah, because Reading's recently got a new manager, haven't they? So it couldn't.
it won't be Reading. No.
Can't be Reading.
No. Well,
We'll have to look to see who we're playing in a few weeks' time that are struggling at the moment, because it may, because he lives in Southampton now, doesn't he? Because didn't his other half get poorly? Didn't she have cancer, and that's why he moved back to the UK?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So I think he left Reigns because he his wife or his mum, I can't remember which one it was, got quite poorly, and he was commuting back and forth in between games, so he wasn't really taking training. And they let him do that for obvious reasons. It was compassionate reasons. But he left there and then got the Southampton job. I think they tapped him up, which obviously didn't work, which is why he's living in and around Southampton now. So he's only on the south coast, and only it's 3 hours in the car. Yeah. But if he's not a million miles away, it's not as if he's travelling another country to watch us. It wouldn't surprise me if he was having early chats with another League One club at the moment, and he's looking to sort of see as many games in the division as possible to get a feel for it. That would be my guess.
Yeah, well, look, let's. I'm just going to, before I come to Gavin's final thoughts, and then myself, Ruby and me saying, will Peppel be better off starting the game with Tolly? He's better with his strength and fight. You've got to focus on Tolly and Aseni now in every opportunity that you can, in my view.
They were class at Doncaster together.
Yeah. Locks 9, 2-0 to Argyle, and also Aseni's been brilliant when he was standing in for to lie on his own. Simon Fort saying 1-0 if we keep our heads. Alex at Argyle going 1-0 to Argyle, going for Owen Aseni. Accidental Pilgrim saying what's on the bench? It'd be good to see him back on. Finn was also on the bench, an unused sub, but it was good to see him back in there. Jake Hillman saying we should have gone 4-3-2 instead of taking Aseni off. Possibly. He was there with his bird. SM10 said to the Will Steele in the ground. Locks 9 saying win on Monday. We could be level on points with Reading or Peterborough and level on points with Wickham. Lots to play for on Monday. Yet it's still an open league. That's for sure. And Bolton, I think, is Andrew with a sticky out tongue emoji in relation to where is Will Steele eyeing up. They did get a win as well, didn't they? I think on Boxing Day. 10-0 Argyle 83 is saying Argyle get the goal difference even, baby. Final thoughts quickly then from yourself, Gavin.
Argyle 83 is now in his happy clap mode. I like to see that.
He's changed his bed sheet, so he's nice and dry now.
Yeah, he's just changed. He's got a mattress topper now with rubber. He'll be fine. Look, I think we'll make a big statement on Monday night. I think we'll come out the blocks pretty aggressively. I think Wickham are probably pretty shell-shocked from getting an absolute 4-0 drubbing on Boxing Day away at Luton. I think they lost the game before as well. I haven't checked FotMob, but I think they did. They were flying for a while, weren't they, Wickham? Because they changed the manager, I think. They were absolutely flying up the league, and I think they were third or fourth in the form table over 10 games. But now they've hit a bump in the road. Let's hope that we're the continuation of that bump in the road. It'd be nice to see Caleb watch with his smiling and cool persona on the bench and coming off for 20 minutes. That'd be lovely. And if he can come back the way that Amichi's come back, mid-January, you're looking at having two very serious attacking players back in our squad on a week in, week out basis, which would fill my heart full of joy. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'd be a great game. And here's to a good win.
Yeah, just to confirm, terms of Wycombe's last 5 games have been the defeat, obviously, to Luton 4-0. Then they've won, drawn, lost, and drawn. So yeah, it will all be to play for. I think I agree. I echo that. I think we should see a turnout. We just got to cut out these silly errors and misjudgments, was else it could end badly again if any of that creeps into the game. So discipline probably being the order of the night for Argyle. But yeah, I don't know how to feel yet about going into Monday's game. I am back working on Monday, so I'll have the day job to keep me occupied before going to that one in the evening. But let's hope we do then see a good performance, and it would be great to try and see those link-up plays with Talai and Aseni and the midfield finding opportunities for them to score some goals. So I think Amici will be interesting. I still notice he struggled to get past the odd player on Boxing Day against Reading, but let's see if he can turn that. But he can clearly hit a shot at goal. So it's good to see him coming back into it. And like Gavin said, it will be good just to see his bright smile in warming up as well on the bench if Watts does come back into it. And of course, if Plaguey can make it into the starting 11, will give even more of a confidence boost. Locks 9 saying poor Port Vale have Bradford on Monday. Oh dear. Andrew saying he's next to me. Argyle 83 with lots of crying out laughters and thumbs up. So thank you everybody for your contributions in the chat tonight. It's been great and hard again to keep up with, but we do like to read them out as much as we can in there. So it's good from you all, and even those that aren't happy with things, because just because we might seem like it, we question things, we still like to hear those that have a point, and we'll always read them out and not shy or hide from it. Mike, thanks again. Harvey, thanks again. Gavin, thanks again. Our next show will be on Thursday. I know there's a bigger gap because it's a Monday night game. Carl will be back because he's on night shifts up until then. Andy, I think you'll find will be back. Harvey, if you want to come back on, by all means, we shall pick up and see where we do end up post Wycombe as well on that game. But other than that, enjoy the rest of the weekend. And I forgot to say at the start, I hope everybody had a good Christmas as well, regardless of the result. And Argyle 83 signing off with latest bedwetters. So on that note, we'll see you next time. Until next time.
Class.
Thanks.
Good night, guys. Bye.